Creating a poison that can kill a large animal without turning the meat toxic is an impressive feat of chemistry, one that probably took a lot of fatal trial and error. Some San groups use castor beans to make poison, others use plants, but the San of the central and northern Kalahari found a peculiar source. They gathered the tiny larvae of the Diamphidia beetle. The San then carefully rolled the larvae between their fingers, softening them up, and then they popped off the heads and squeezed out their toxic insides onto their arrows. No one with cuts or scrapes is allowed to take part in this process because there is no antidote for Diamphidia poison. You can kill a mouse with just 25 trillionths of a gram of this poison. And with this ingenious concoction combined with an ultra-light bow and arrow, the San could hunt with ease. The San's tracking skills are just as important as their poison arrows. In the endless Kalahari, it's essential to be able to track your prey over long distances. San hunters could tell the weight and amount of fat on an animal by looking at its tracks alone. They could tell an individual's tracks apart from the rest of the herd. By looking at scuffs on rocks and recently trampled grass, they could tell the direction of a fleeing animal. Gossip spread quickly in San camps because people recognized each other's footprints and knew who was coming and going from where and when. Once a hunter had hit their prey with an arrow, they would simply memorize its tracks and let the poison do its job. Then in a couple of hours, or the next day, they'd follow their tracks and pick up the meal.
The poison has brought the wildebeest down on a dry pan. The hunt has been successful.
Returning to camp with their kill, hunters would need thick skin, because back at camp, everyone would insult the meat, referring to it as tiny or barely even worth the effort of hunting. The hunters weren't supposed to be hurt by these fake insults. They normally smiled as they were dished out and just continued to distribute the meat equally to everyone. This was an act that every San knew well, and it served a vital purpose. It kept egos in check. If you read Richard Lee's study on the San, he gets super offended when they start making fun of an ox he bought them for Christmas. In frustration, he asks why they keep calling the fat ox he bought skinny and worthless. And a San man called Tamazao responds, "When a young man kills much meat, he comes to think of himself as a chief or a big man, and he thinks the rest of us as his servants or inferiors. We cannot accept this. So we always speak of his meat as worthless. This way we cool his heart and make him gentle." The San understood letting anyone rise to the top of the social ladder led to problems. Everyone in the camp was on equal footing, and if some started thinking too much of themselves, the San made sure to ridicule them.